night. 6 oil tanker fire accident victims die at Muhimbili National Hospital. Government committed to improving the investment environment in Kagera region. And in sports, the B-Ball Kings third season to be launched this Saturday at Muhimbili City Mall. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. 6 more casualties of the oil tanker fire accident which had occurred at Msamvu area in Morogoro last Saturday have died while receiving medical treatment at Muhimbili National Hospital. The latest report was given by the head of communication and customer service at Muhimbili National Hospital in Dar es Salaam, where the blood donation exercise and aid support for the remaining fire victims admitted at the hospital continues.
Japo leo tunasikitika kwamba jana tulikuwa na wagonjwa 38.
Yesterday we had 38 patients, but sadly last night 6 died, so we've been left with 32 patients, of which 17 are in ICU and the remaining 15 are in Ward 22 receiving treatment. 2 days ago he was doing well, but he got worse yesterday and has been moved to the ICU. I've come from there to find out how he's doing, but so far I've not seen him. We're grateful for the medical equipment that you've given us. It will go a long way into helping us care for the injured.
The Secretary General of Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM Dr. Bashiru Ali has visited Kola Cemetery grounds in Morogoro, where victims of oil tanker fire accident which occurred last Saturday have been laid to rest. In his condolence message, he said the incident was a lesson on how to address big disasters. These are difficult times. We need to grieve in peace and not blaming each other, as well as learn how to be ready in curbing calamities and emergencies of this kind. I commend all who participated in rescuing people at this emergency. On behalf of CCM Party, I send our condolences to those who lost their loved ones at this tragic incident. May you not lose faith from this tragedy. We are all passing in one path. The rest that are left behind, we should continue in focusing on building our nation, because our nation relies much on youth. I also thank our religious leaders for their continuous preachers in educating us that we all depend on God. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has officially opened the Investment Forum Week in Kagera region, which also witnessed the launch of investment guidelines in the region. Now, speaking at the occasion, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa said that the government is committed to improving the investment environment in the region.
Serikali yetu inaongozwa na rais wetu Mheshimiwa Dr. John Magufuli.
Our government, under the leadership of Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, has continued to create a conducive environment for investors so as to keep up with the pace fit for Tanzania. What we did this year in our House of Parliament was to make it easier to invest for internal and external investors by removing 54 different taxes which were proving difficult for investors. Now investing has been made easy. Kagera is amongst the 5 regions at the bottom in contribution towards the national income. This is not acceptable. Our people must come back home to invest. We must stop complaining and empty words. Opportunities are here.
The SADC Ministerial Council has approved of 107 recommendations to be submitted to heads of state of member countries attending the 39th SADC Summit. These include the Swahili language becoming one among 4 of the languages to be used in the SADC member countries.
These efforts are very important, and they remind us to accelerate our integration process to match the momentum in order to remain ahead and focused on the objectives of our integration as we have always been. If we do not hasten our process, these changes happening outside will force us to run.
The Minister of State in the President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government, Sulaiman Jafo, has said more than 669 billion shillings in revenue was collected by local government authorities during the 2018-2019 financial year, with Geita region having the highest collections, followed by Iringa and Songwe regions.
This is the first time in history that the revenue collected by the Ministry of Regional Administration and Local Government has reached such a high level. We were able to collect an average of 91% of our targeted revenue. This means that although our goal was to collect 723.7 billion shillings, we instead achieved a revenue collection of 661.4 billion shillings, which is still very good. Although there were many district councils who invested huge chunks of their revenues into development projects, one council stood out from all of the rest. I would like to say that this was the Dodoma City Council. The Dodoma Council invested an average of 75% of their collected revenue into development projects.
Peleka fedha za vijana, walemavu na wanawake.
And wildlife rangers from Tanzania Wildlife Management Authority Tower at Rukwa Ruwafi Station have killed a hippo during an operation. The hippo had for some time now become a threat to the lives of residents of Msukumilo ward in Mpanda Municipal Katavi region.
He was spotted outside the reserve chasing people. He did not live with other animals. Hippos live in water, but this particular one has been leaving water for dry land and destroying whatever he came across, including the killing of this one victim. They should reduce the number because it is becoming very dangerous now, and children can no longer go to school early. We've lost a retired teacher, and still other people's lives were at risk.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows shortly. And in international news, President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya has maintained his stand that counters will not get a shilling more than 316 billion shillings allocated by the National Assembly in the contested division of a revenue bill of 2019. Governors and senators have been pushing to have 335 billion shillings that the Commission on Revenue Allocation gave counters for the financial year 2019-2020.
Mgogoro huu umeathiri shughuli mingi katika kaunti zetu.
This conflict has affected a lot of operations in our counties. As you know, we rely on financing from the national government. As a Senate, we think that it is only right for this conflict to be resolved.
Tunashindana na maisha ya wananchi, tafadhalini, kwa heshima kuu.
We are messing our people's lives. I ask you to please listen to one another so we can release the funds to the counties. This is my request to you. Take what we have. When we receive more, we will add up. You cannot be in disagreement every day.
Wananchi wa jamhuri yetu. Hiyo tu ndio ombi langu.
The Ministry of Environment, Agriculture and Livestock in Burundi has said plastic bags will be banned in the country after August 22nd this year. The ministry has said that in order to fight the use of plastic bags, producers who use plastic packaging will have to look into alternative packaging materials.
What we are going to insist on companies is that anyone who uses plastic bottles before authorization must show us how he is going to supervise plastic bottle collection. For those willing to change, the government of Burundi will support them to import materials VAT exempted so that they can produce alternative packaging.
Youth in Beni in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo have started military training in order to fight rebels who have been attacking and killing citizens in the town. They claim that the United Nations and government forces have failed to control the rebels.
We have decided to take this initiative after seeing that the government has failed to protect us. All we want is for the government to provide us with weapons so that we could deal with the rebels on our own. We began exercises in the morning, but it wasn't intervened by militias who have failed to perform their job in removing the rebels. If the military force is incapable of safeguarding the borders, why not allow citizens to take their responsibility, since we are capable of doing so? That is not breaking laws.
Passengers using public transport in Kigali, Rwanda, have expressed dissatisfaction on internet services provided in the bus. They said that they depend on the internet for various reasons, including communication.
When there are less people on the bus, internet speed is faster, but it decreases when more people board. We ask passengers to report any bus with no internet connection because internet charges have been included in the fare, so it is a customer's right to receive this service.
The German government is under growing pressure to revamp its approach to climate change. Berlin was once seen as a pioneer in green policy, but it seems to be struggling to meet its targets, with Tanzania just enhancing its ban on plastic bags recently. Capital Television's Vanessa Victor and Deutsche Welle correspondent Thomas Sparrow look into how Germany plans to ban plastic bags completely.
Bags came into force in Tanzania on June the 1st of this year. This was a part of efforts to tackle pollution. The plastics carrier bags regulations in the country have banned the import, export, manufacturing, sale, storage, supply, as well as use of plastic bags, with manufacturing penalties going up to 1 billion Tanzanian shillings or 2 years of imprisonment. Even travelers to Tanzanians are no longer allowed to bring plastic carrier bags into the country. Now, looking towards Germany, the German government is under growing pressure to revamp its approach to climate change. Berlin was once seen as a pioneer in green policy, but it seems to be struggling to meet its targets. Now, the environment minister is planning to ban plastic shopping bags completely, which, like in Tanzania at the time, has led to a big debate there. We have our Deutsche Welle correspondent, Thomas Sparrow, with us with more on this. Thomas, what has caused this sudden sense of urgency within the German government?
It's nice to talk to you once again, Vanessa, and it's nice to talk to you on a topic that, as you have just described, is not only important here in Germany, but also in Tanzania and in other parts of the world, namely what measures can be taken by different governments in order to increase protection of the climate. And in fact, here in Germany, the government has been trying now for some time to revamp its climate protection priorities. And on the 20th of September, it will be meeting to try and present its conclusions, its goals as to what it wants to do moving forward. When you ask why there is this renewed sense of urgency here in the country, I would point to at least two main reasons. The first one is that there seems to be more awareness among the German public that this is indeed a very urgent matter. If you look, for example, at recent polls, you will see that Germans said that climate protection is the biggest priority that politicians should focus on, and other polls have indicated that Germans would be in favor of more drastic measures to protect the climate. The second issue, which is directly related to this one, is the political favorability of different parties here. So whereas you have the parties in the governing coalition, in other words, the Conservatives, that's Angela Merkel's party, and the Social Democrats, both losing ground, you have seen one party surging in particular, and that party is the Greens. And as you know, the Green Party, the main element that the Green Party defends is precisely climate protection. So the parties in the governing coalition realized not only that there is awareness among the German public, but also that there is need to politically react to that awareness, and that's the reason why now they are presenting all these different proposals, which include the possible ban on plastic bags, but also other proposals that have to do with transport or with other consumption patterns as well.
So with the German government preparing this package of concrete climate protection measures, what is it that we can expect?
We can expect concrete proposals, because what you have had so far is proposals by different ministries, by different organizations who have presented what they believe are the most important priorities according to the area in which they work. And what will happen now until the end of September is precisely that there will be a debate on these policies, there will be a debate among ministries, among parties as well, and in the end the government will come up with a concrete plan for the future when it comes to climate protection. By the way, Vanessa, that meeting on the 20th of September comes just before an international summit in New York hosted by the United Nations, where some of the key priorities and proposals at an international level will also be discussed.
Okay, that is really good to know. Now for our last question, because we're pressed for time. It's been very clear, because we've discussed this before, that Chancellor Merkel's government will not be able to meet its environmental targets it's set for itself in the past on things like CO2 reduction or even electromobility. How has this, if it has, affected Germany's credibility in terms of its commitment to the environment?
It has affected Germany's credibility. You may remember that the German Chancellor was described as the climate Chancellor, and Germany was also seen as a good example of a country that had managed to put in practice a series of climate protection priorities. But in recent years, the German government has had other priorities. It has focused on other problems, migration, for example, being the most evident one. And as such, critics believe that the German government has let some of its priorities aside when it comes to climate protection. And this has indeed affected Angela Merkel's credibility, the German government credibility internationally, but also locally. And this is again another reason why the German government has decided to revamp its climate protection priorities.
Well, thank you very much, Thomas, on that insight. We welcome you to join us into the plastic bag ban and finding different alternatives to be able to carry groceries and other items as well.
Thank you very much for your time.
And that is the end of International News. Business News follows shortly after the break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight, sesame has been announced as a strategic crop in Mtwara region after cashew nut, which can bring about economic growth for the farmers and region as a whole.
Impacts of all agricultural produce should be seen on income generated. It is believed that once investment is done in agriculture sector, then income revolution would be achieved at council levels. If that is not enough, we are the ones responsible in persuading our citizens to adhere to proper farming methods. It is possible to make sesame crop become one among the strategic crops in the country. In these 2 years, prices of sesame have increased, and farming of it has also gone up. I would like to suggest that the current system to be improved.
A nutritious food exhibition has started in Arusha with a call to food processors to collaborate with the government to fight malnutrition among children, particularly in rural areas of the country.
We are participating in supporting small-scale entrepreneurs by giving them training that allows them to produce good quality products that will facilitate good nutrition in our societies. We are emphasizing much to our entrepreneurs on issues of producing healthy, good quality products that are accepted within and outside the country. Flour that is produced must have nutrients that are needed in our bodies.
The Commissioner of the Insurance Regulatory Authority in the country, Dr. Musa Juma, has said that implementation of the law requiring insurance be paid on imports has started. He said insurance will be paid even on goods which have already been insured out of the country.
TIAP is a system that aims at increasing insurance contribution. Right now, we are on the process of making sure that the law begins taking action immediately. Insurance effectiveness relies on background of people in appreciating its value. If you ask people right now how many have insurance, you'll be surprised, because from our backgrounds, there is no value of insurance.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lynn.
And in sports news, Simba Sports Club have proceeded with training ahead of the Community Shield game against Azam FC this Saturday, with the head coach confident of winning the game.
You know, we are competitors. So each competition we begin, we will try to win it. So league, to win the league, you need 38 games. To win this trophy, it's only one game. And as I said, we are competitors. We want to keep this charity shield at home. So we will do our best to bring this trophy here.
The B-Ball Kings' third season is scheduled to be launched this Saturday at Muhimbili City Mall. Interested teams have been called on to register for the competition run by East Africa Television.
This year, every player who believes that he meets the requirements can participate, but who wants someone with 16 years of age and above. The team must have 10 players only, and this competition will only involve men. Hopefully, in later years, we can involve women, but for now, it is just for men. The registration on Saturday, the 17th, will start at 9 a.m.
Kwa hiyo tunaita timu zote ili ziweze kuja pale na kushiriki.
When Stephanie Frappart takes charge of the UEFA Super Cup between Chelsea and Liverpool on Wednesday, it will not be the biggest game she has refereed this summer. Here's more.
The French official will make history by becoming the first female to officiate in a major men's European match tonight. But having also taken charge of the Women's World Cup final in July and Ligue 1 matches in France since April, she says she will not be feeling any extra pressure. We train a lot of all the time, so we are not afraid because we are always ready for all the games, the 35-year-old said. Frappart admits her life has changed since she was appointed earlier this month as part of an all-female on-field referee team for the match between last season's Champions League and Europa League winners. She will line up alongside assistant referee Manuela Nicolosi of Italy and Michelle O'Neill from the Republic of Ireland, who also joined her at the World Cup.
And Manchester City have avoided a transfer embargo from FIFA, instead being fined 370,000 Swiss francs, which is equivalent to £314,000 for a breach of regulations regarding the recruitment of minors. Here's more of the story.
City will be relieved not to receive the same sanction as Chelsea, who were unable to sign any players in the summer window after breaching the same rules. Instead, City will have to pay the fine and will be free to make fresh recruits in the winter window. Manchester City said the club accepts responsibility for the breaches which arose as a result of misinterpretation of the regulations in question. A statement from the world governing body said the FIFA Disciplinary Committee has sanctioned English club Manchester City FC for breaches relating to the international transfer and registration of players under the age of 18.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbo. Thank you for watching and good night.